To Liliana of the Veil. I had so much hate when I spoiled this card, and I gave it horrible reviews. I was like, "This card is horrible. It's never going to see play." Yeah, people gave me crap, and for good reason. I deserved every bit of it. She's not horrible, but she's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it seems like everybody gave her at least a decent score, except for me. Yeah, I mean, I gave her a lower score because I've been running her consistently in my mono black deck, where you think that she would shine, and she really actually doesn't in EDH. She's kind of underwhelming. I mean, her +1 makes you lose a card, so Liliana Vess, at least, her +1 not only gets her bigger, but it hurts someone else. So I hated losing cards. Her -2 is so unspecific. It's good early on where people have single cards, like little guys out, but then why do you want to make someone hate you by killing their Coiling Oracle or their Kazali Pride Mage or something? And then they'll be like, dude, what the hell? You kill my guy with Liliana? It's kind of pointless. You play a late game, and most people have at least 4, 5, 6 creatures on the field, so it's not going to really do that much. And her -6, it's pretty decent, but if you don't get it out early, everyone's going to know well in advance that you have her coming up to her ultimate, and she just won't last. So she ended up being kind of like, okay, she's decent, but she never really did much for me. And actually, I'm probably going to switch her out for the new Liliana, who I think is much more powerful. But I'll let you guys know about that in the future.
There you go.
After I play her out some.
Okay. Next is like the most consistent scores, barring overall the most consistent scores as up to this point, and that would be Koth of the Hammer.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put a caveat with my score in that I'm referencing the dual decks Koth and not the actual release Koth, because I think the art is much more indicative of what I've envisioned Koth would be like.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
I agree.
Yeah, I can agree with that, yeah.
Because the original Koth, he's just kind of standing around looking bored, and then and Koth versus
he's contemplating.
Like,
he's contemplating.
Yeah, exactly. He's got like one of those desk stress relief things on his hand.
Right. It's like, why the hell is a red Planeswalker contemplating?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in all of Chandra's arts, something on her is on fire, and Koth is just kind of tooling around.
And he's also really angry in other cards like Geosurge and Slagstorm. So why was he not angry in his own card?
I guess it's because Venser wasn't around.
I guess. I will say, the first prize pack I ever opened from a draft, I opened a Koth. Made me happy. But he was very good. Like, with Delver running around nowadays, some people forgot about how good Mono Red was for a while between Goblin Guide and Koth and Goblin Guide.
Mostly Goblin
I played
Guide,
a GP. I played a GP with my buddy, and it was back when Scars had just come out, and he was like, "Okay, if I open Koth, I'm just leaving." And I remember I was opening my packs and registering my deck, and I just saw my friend at the artist's table, and I was like, "Oh, I guess he opened a Koth." Just packed it up and left. Didn't register the deck or anything.
That's really
poor guy.
It's over.
Now it's like $8. Yeah.
Okay, next we have Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. We have a low score and a high score that must be explained.
Alrighty.
Who wants to start?
First, then?
I guess you should.
I think that at first I was tempted to score him lower than I did. Of course, I gave him a perfect score, which would be why I'm explaining it. And I was tempted to give him a lower score just because of his white, because I didn't really think it fit story-wise. Because he's, of anything, Soren's got ambiguous morals. But his white did make a little more sense to me because he did engineer the security of his plane while he was gone.
With a good old triple white angel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, my score was because he really... I mean, okay, I'll put it in. I know it's kind of late to be saying this, but some of my scores, though the card might have an ability that's decent in a very specific deck, that doesn't necessarily make it a good EDH card. So, I mean, Sorin, okay, the caveat is if he's in a token-oriented deck, then I would give him closer to like a 5 or 6 because his -2 is phenomenal in that case. But otherwise, in other decks, his +1 is worthless. His -6 is cool, but you're not going to get him there. That's just too dangerous to be able to steal 3 huge things. That's not going to last. And then his -2 doesn't mean anything unless you have hordes of creatures. So in a token deck, he's fine. Otherwise, he's pretty
Oh, well, come on. Making 1 token isn't good for EDH? I don't believe that.
A 1/1 token.
What if you have Doubling Season out?
2 1/1 tokens.
And he gets another counter.
This is the best.
That's a combo right there. Next
Boom.
is... what was that?
I said boom.
Boom! Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker. Anyone glad to see him reprinted in M13?
I was hoping they'd go for some... I'd hoping they would go for some different art. I'm gonna be honest.
Kind of.
No.
not really.
I don't know. I don't like reprints with the same art.
They just
It
printed
seems
him in the
lazy.
dual decks.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but still, come on. What are these guys doing sitting around not drawing things?
I mean, he's kind of self-explanatory in terms of score. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys gave him really, really high scores.
before we
for
go
obvious
though,
reason.
Drew, what are your thoughts between the dual deck flavor and the Dragon's Vault flavor versus like the different boluses? Do you have any thoughts on the flavor?
Oh, between his Elder Dragon flavor and his Planeswalker flavor?
Yeah, the
Or
differences
what?
in that.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I feel like the Elder I think it's a nice progression, even though you can see the difference in art between the older Nicol Bolas and the Nicol Bolas that everyone is familiar with now. I mean, I think it's a really healthy progression, because in his first card you see the fact that he is an Elder Dragon. He's an older, wiser, more experienced dragon who's gone through a lot of stuff and controls and has a lot of power. And then, as he starts to defeat other dragons, we see in his Nicol Bolas, before he becomes a Planeswalker card, he's kind of streamlined. He's very intimidating. This card is probably my favorite art, because it just shows very clearly that he is a dragon, even in spite of being a Planeswalker. Between Nicol Bolas Planeswalker from the Shards of Alara block, I like the art. I like the Planeswalker. His abilities are very flavorful, especially the control abilities. His ultimate is incredibly flavorful, because he has the blue ability of affecting people's memories, blah, blah, blah. All in all, I've been very pleased with all of the Nicol Bolas cards for various reasons.
Yeah.
I will tell you my favorite Nicol Bolas Planeswalker story. Someone played against it, me and Cube. I let him get it all the way up, then cast and used Mindslaver. Then had him target himself with Nicol Bolas' ultimate.
That's great.
Nice.
It was a good time.
That's great.
Okay.